Startup Podcast PH is co-produced by Sprout Solutions. Check out our partners in the description. We are here at the CloudCFO office and we're interviewing CloudCFO, the cloud accountants of the Philippines. And we have its founder and CEO, Mickael Cardoso. Hello, Mickael. How are you?
Hello, hi. Thanks for having me on your show.
And thanks for
Super
having me in your office. It's such a nice place actually here in Mandaluyong City.
Thanks for coming all the way.
Yeah, and I'm surprised actually to see the office and the team. So I'm actually surprised. I mean, you've grown actually to quite a huge number.
Well, I wouldn't say huge, but it's getting there. Yeah,
And I'm actually curious to know more about the story. So you're from France
Correct.
originally, and then you came to the Philippines, and then you started Cloud CFO, and now you're actually the cloud accountants of
Yes.
the Philippines.
Yes, we try to be. So a company started about 7 years ago.
Mm.
I was working for a multinational before in various finance roles. But I've always wanted to start my own thing. So before I got too comfortable in the corporate world, I decided, you know what, let's leave and start something. I moved back to the Philippines. At the time, I was they had sent me to Australia for a job.
Mm.
I moved back to the Philippines and was kind of exploring different opportunities. And having a finance background, some of my friends and contacts started asking me to help them because they just couldn't get their accounting in order. They were trying to raise funding, run their startup, and they just couldn't get it to work because due diligences were always a problem. Compliance was a problem. So I just started advising them a little bit, and then really understood that cloud accounting was almost nowhere to be found at the time. And we decided to take the challenge of pioneering cloud accounting in the Philippines, which has been fun with its ups and downs. And yeah, I mean, right now we're about 120 team members. We have a portfolio of about close to 300 companies, not just in the Philippines because we've expanded abroad since. Yeah, that's our journey in a nutshell.
Yeah, I have many questions. I mean, of
Yeah.
course, we'll talk more about how you do cloud accounting actually. But
Yes.
let's go first with like how you actually help Filipino SMEs, right? So what exactly are the challenges they face or their pain points that you actually can solve first by like third party accounting and then by cloud accounting especially.
Okay, sure. I mean, there are multiple pain points. The overarching pain is most business owners, most startups run their company without proper financial management. They don't really know how they're doing cash in, cash out, and in many businesses that just doesn't fly. You're not looking at your liabilities. 13th month pay is coming down in December. Some people forget that it's coming up, and then they get a bill shock when they have to pay, and things like this, right? So cash accounting just didn't work. And that's not just a problem in the Philippines, to be quite honest. Like we work with companies globally now, and we see this in the SME segment and startup segment. It is difficult to establish the right processes, establish the right systems, work with the right people to get proper financial management in place on a frequent basis. The backstory, I mean, my father ran a construction business in France. And when I was a teenager, I remember every April he'd get a bit stressed because he was going to meet his accountant. And he was going to meet the accountant to know how he did last year. And it was nuts to me that he was working for a year plus 4 months until April. And only then did he know if he was doing better than the year before or worse. And that's always struck me. And that's the story of most SME business owners. So that's the problem we're trying to solve. And there are a lot of underlying problems here. Access to the right talent and expertise, the right systems, and that's where we can talk about cloud accounting, and definition of the right processes. Because without these three things, you just won't get the right answers for your business.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I mean, just to give it more context, usually for SME, for business owners, usually they just focus on the operations or like what they do on a day-to-day basis. And usually, even with startups, usually there's the tech guy, and then there's the business guy. But there's actually like the financial routines inside that you have to do, that you have to manage, right? So
yes,
yeah, I think that's where you enter, right?
Correct. Actually, startups are a very good scenario. Like we sometimes talk to founders, and it's fascinating. In some extreme cases, they don't even know the customer is and like from a financial perspective, from a transactional perspective, and from a tax perspective, they also don't really know how to apply tax to their business model. If you're in a marketplace, for example, like supply and demand, you're matching, you're just a provider in between. Who's your client? Who pays you at which point? all of these things they tend to fix that from a commercial perspective. Like, okay, we use this payment channel, we get money here, we remit there. But from a financial process perspective, a lot of them kind of bypass this and can very quickly run into trouble.
Yeah. Then for the cloud, what's cloud actually, and why cloud?
So cloud is the encompassing concept is cloud accounting. So we use cloud-based solutions to provide our services to customers. Some are very well known: QuickBooks Online, Xero, Odoo. So we implement those solutions for our customers, and then we help them run their system.
Oh, I see.
So we have our own portal. So we build technology ourselves as well, but not in a. We're not replacing the accounting solutions. Our technology primarily focused on customer interface, customer processes, managing their tax deadlines, submitting things for approval. So we have a complementary web portal, but the ledger, the actual accounting, is not on a third-party system.
Yeah, and I'm also curious about the name because you chose the name CloudCFO. I mean, not just cloud accounting. So,
correct.
How different is a CFO to?
I mean, the CFO is the most senior person in the finance team, right? In the multinational. I mean, that's really our mission, is to empower business owners, and the concept of empowerment comes from having a senior person that guides you along your professional journey or your entrepreneurial journey, and that's really what drives us. That's our motivation.
So basically, it's like outsourced CFO or a fractional CFO.
And for SMEs, I mean, the CFO is more the idea of helping and solving problems, but accountants, if they're well trained, the right senior accountants can answer most of the questions that SME need. We do provide fractional CFO services where more senior people come in for some engagement, but really you need a CFO if you're, for example, raising debt, structuring debt, raising funding, going through due diligence, or acquiring businesses, you need a CFO. For the rest, you really need a good accountant.
So basically, in a nutshell, correct me if I'm wrong, Mickael. So basically, for a business owner who's too busy to do the financial processes of his or her business, the accounting part, the bookkeeping part as well, and even like the CFO part, like maybe fundraising. So you help them.
We help them with all that. So the first step is obviously digitalization, right? Because we work remote work on cloud. So you run your business. I mean, you came here today, you probably have some expenses to come here. You're going to have to expense them out. Our client will just take a picture of the receipts, upload it to our portal, and our team takes it from there, right? Sorry, I'm not pitching to you, but that's how it would work, right?
Yeah, no, actually, I mean, the podcast is a very small SME. Actually, we're just a small team. But even we're just, I mean, less than 10 people, I actually find it difficult to manage the finances.
I mean, there's the compliance part as well, right? In the Philippines, compliance is quite heavy. There are a lot of tax filings, a lot of withholding taxes that apply on certain conditions, and other times it doesn't. So it is a difficult environment to run a business.
So, what exactly are like the services that you do? I mean, what are like the most popular services that Filipino SMEs ask for from CloudCFO?
In the large majority of cases, we'll call it an end-to-end package. We'll do cloud bookkeeping, financial reporting on a monthly or quarterly basis. We can do their payroll, so they submit their employee information. We compute payroll, file taxes. That's usually kind of like our core services.
Bookkeeping, payroll, and
tax and financial reporting.
Oh, do you know, actually, I just heard this from a few people. They said that maybe it also gives like a context of how the Philippine SME ecosystem is growing. Maybe they said that if you want to be rich, even while you're staying at home, you go do accounting businesses. What do you think about that?
I'll put some caveats to that. It's yes, I mean, Filipino accountants are well renowned globally, and a lot of them even work remotely now with BPOs, etc. So there's definitely a job for accountants at the moment. But I'll put a caveat to this because technology is disrupting the industry a bit, and that's something accountants need to think about.
Yeah, that's actually my next question. Well, this first. How exactly do you distinguish yourself from maybe other accounting services? Because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of accounting and even CFO startups or businesses out there. So how do you set your edge from them?
We integrate technology into everything that we do. So I talked about our web portal. Everyone can say, I'll give you a a financial report every 10th of the month. Everyone can say that on their proposal, right? We actually provide deadlines, KPIs in our portal where the client can see. So we're completely transparent about what we're doing, our commitments to our customers. We track our response time. So when we engage a customer, we will commit that we will respond within 1-2 business days, depending on their package. And we track our ability to respond. So we extremely customer centric and customer focused. And the way we do this across a large portfolio is by using technology to ensure that we meet our promises to customers. And I think that's quite unique. Like no one is as transparent and as committed to providing timely, accurate service to customers. And we're completely naked. Like you go to our portal, you will see what's going on at any given time.
Is it more of like a SaaS, like a subscription style, or is it more of like a client style? I mean, relationship style approach.
We engage with customers just like any other accounting firm. They don't pay for our technology; they pay for our service. But the way we deliver service is through very transparent and efficient technology.
I actually like those two things. I mean, it sounds so simple, transparency and commitment, but it actually takes a company culture, an organization structure to actually do it on. I mean, to scale it, actually to do it in many clients. Speaking about this, so what kind of SMEs, maybe size and like industry, are the usual clients of CloudCFO? I mean, I'm also asking this because maybe a startup who's listening right now or an SME who's listening right now who wants to work with CloudCFO.
I mean, we can start very small, even from registration stage. But we typically work with, we'd call them growth-oriented businesses. Again, we work with companies that are like 2 videographers up to companies with like 50 branches nationwide. Like, so the range is pretty large.
For the small ones,
yes.
What do you do for them?
Same. Bookkeeping, tax, financial reporting. They don't need it monthly because the business is simple, but they get quarterly reports.
They still have to pay their taxes, right?
Correct.
BIR, and they have to register their business. How about for the big? I mean, are there different services that the small ones and the big ones avail?
Our fees will be different because our fees are dependent on volume. So if you have 20 receipts a month, you're just a small business, our fees would be actually quite simple and start at a fairly competitive rate. But then if you scale and you have hundreds of transactions, hundreds of employees, then the work we perform requires more time from us. So our fees would evolve accordingly.
Yeah. So here's a question for an SME who's listening right now. Maybe how can he or she know that they need CloudCFO service? I mean, because usually you just do your business. If you earn, if you do it correctly, I mean, you can earn. It's working, right?
Yes.
But when do they really actually need to get your services? What do you think about that?
So there are 2 sides to this, right? They're the entrepreneurs that don't want to be bothered. They're concerned about tax liabilities. They heard horror stories about BR cases, and they want peace of mind. So that's one kind of group of people that will engage. Where we really bring value in general is growth-oriented businesses. When just kind of running your business on a day-to-day cash in, cash out is starting to limit you. Like you want to understand which service is profitable, like how is your margin evolving over time.
So you also do that? I mean, like consulting somehow? Like giving advice?
I mean, that's what a financial report should do.
Oh, okay.
Our financial reports are quite insightful. Like there's an actual analysis. We present it. We meet with you monthly or quarterly. And we will advise you along the way. So if you're an entrepreneur listening at the moment, and there's any point where you ask yourself, like, I don't have the visibility I need, that's when you need to reach out.
Oh, that's actually super nice, because usually, usually for like the usual accounting firms, SMEs hire them for like the routine, right?
Compliance, right?
Compliance, yeah. But this is actually a very, it's actually more for startups, especially for those who want to grow and to scale, because they want to identify correctly which of their what they call this, like which demographic or which type of customers maybe, or which of their services should they focus on, right?
Some of that is commercial data that we don't necessarily have. We could combine that data, but for example, understanding which service has better margins, things like this really require proper accounting in place and proper financial processes. So that's what we do. Yes.
Do you have any like success stories of any clients who like grew, scaled because of how you helped them?
I hope we have a few. Yes. I can give a few examples. Maybe like restaurants or some industries, right? For confidentiality reasons, I can't really go into too much detail about a specific client, but I'll give you, say, a restaurant or a bar. 10 years ago, there's less competition, costs were lower, rentals were lower, salaries were lower for staff, and their margins were pretty healthy. So they kind of like knew, like, okay, it's going, it's working, the cash is building up. And as competition tightened up, their margins now become a lot thinner. So they don't really know anymore. Like, am I making money? Am I not? Restaurants are not an easy business. There's inventory. Like, they buy things ahead of time. So if they buy at the end of the month, the money in the bank doesn't really reflect their profitability. So we've guided multiple restaurants and bars, understanding really what's their financial performance, what's their food cost margin, what's the break-even point considering their fixed costs. Those are the answers we help them find.
Oh, that's actually a good insight. How about just to give more picture, aside from restaurants, or I mean, aside from the food industry, maybe.
So I can give you another example about tech companies. Understanding your business model, the applicability of taxes in the Philippines is quite complex. So we've helped multiple companies understand their tax liabilities, their tax application, how they should pass this on to their customer or to their suppliers. So we help them solve the problem. So it's not just on a kind of a monthly recurring basis where we do the reporting, but even at the start, like understanding the business model, help them build a business case and a business and understanding the financial flow.
Yeah, actually that's true, because for startups, usually, I mean, startups really want to develop a good business model.
Correct.
I mean, usually they cannot do it by themselves. I mean, if they're just the tech guy and maybe the business guy, but usually, I mean, just to see the exact numbers, to see the exactly what's happening. So that's where you come in, right? To really to really say that this is the working business model for them. Right?
Correct. Again, you're a marketplace. What's your revenue? Is it the total value that goes to your marketplace or just your service fee? Depending on how you handle your transactions with different stakeholders, the answer is different. Your tax application is different. So understanding that is fundamental. Obviously, to get a successful tech business, you need scale, right? So I'm not saying build your financial process first. No, obviously build the product or service as scalable, but don't wait to build your financial processes, your financial flows and reports, because by the time you need to raise funds, if you haven't solved this, you will for sure have a problem. Actually, failed financial due diligence is one of the major reason investors wouldn't invest.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious about what you said about the tax. I mean, how complex the tax system is in the Philippines. How complex is it, and how do you deal with that?
Well, we have a team of experts that do that. Our taxes are always reviewed and filed by senior CPAs with tax practitioner with tax experience. It is complex because it's frequent, right? So you have monthly filings, quarterly filings, yearly filings, and it's unforgiving. Meaning, if you're late by an hour, you miss the deadline by an hour, you get a 25% surcharge and interest penalties and compromise penalties. So the room for error is very narrow. So if you're not, this is why we also build technology to track deadlines. Is there are dependencies. If you don't submit your receipts to us, I can't file your taxes on time, and then potential penalties pile up. So we have to be very process oriented because of the complexity of the regulation here.
Yeah, and just to give a picture again for potential clients listening. So for example, if I, for example, me, I'm an SME owner, and I find that it's such a headache to do the compliance stuff, and then I also want to grow. I also want to like have someone help me with actually defining my business model.
Yeah.
So how does it work? How does it happen? So I approach you, and then what happens?
Okay, so if you're someone listening and you're interested, you can go to our website, cloudcfo.ph. There's a contact us button. You just fill up a simple form. Someone from our team will reach out. Typically, the journey will be we'd get on a call. We try to understand your business, what you do, ask you what you want us to do. Do you want us to do bookkeeping, reporting, tax, payroll? What else do you need us to help with? And then we tailor a proposal to the size of your business and to the scope of services you need. If you then want to go forward with it, we move into an onboarding stage. So onboarding is always tailored to the customer. we literally try to understand each uniqueness of each business model. And that's how we start building these processes, asking those questions. At the end, is just to make sure that the financial report we're going to give you after month one is correct based on your business model and gives you the information you need to go forward. So the onboarding during the onboarding, we'll build deadlines for everything that we do for you. We'll also actually, this is the flip side of the coin. We'll actually tell you also, we'll give you work. We'll tell you, you need to give us the receipts by that date, this bank statements by that date. So, but at least we document very clearly and manage it through a portal what's expected to be done for your company.
So this is usually project based, right? I mean, if there's a client, then you assign part of your team, and then
Yes,
you also equip them with the technology that CloudCFO has.
correct.
And then basically that it's a team that works with the client, right?
Yeah, so we always assign a team, and that team is led by a accounting manager. You'll have different people in the team to help him. We also have subject matter experts for technology. If we need to research solutions that could help your business, because there's a lot of SaaS tools out there. We implement QuickBooks Online if you don't have a setup. Actually, that's one of the main hurdles. A lot of companies do not use systems; they use spreadsheets at best, and we will always migrate you to a system.
I see. Now it's super clear for me now. Basically, you help these companies with on the financial side, but the thing really that hit me here, I mean, that really is, I think what's really unique is the transparency and commitment, right, you give to them. But here's a question. Now, there are new AI tools, I guess, for accounting. So, what do you have to say about those? I mean, because I think it's still important to have the human people to do this process, right?
Correct.
What do you say about like the growth of AI, especially in this industry, in this field?
Just a quarter ago, we released our own AI solution. I mean, we use a third-party AI tool, and we integrate into our app or a portal. So clients can upload or send us a receipt, for example. When you send us a receipt and our app captures it, we'll actually run it first through AI. And AI is going to try to contextualize that receipt with information about you and your business to try to guess the accounting entry already. And then our team just reviews it.
So the AI, I mean, the AI gives like financial insights. I mean, like
at the moment, it's not yet insights. It's literally like, okay, this is a grab receipt. In the past, when we received the grab receipts from this team, we booked at the transportation expense. We see the amount being 550 pesos. There's no tax on it. And then it will just literally create the accounting entry for our verification. So it's not an analysis per se. It's literally just automation of accounting entries.
Yeah. Actually, that's still a good one. I mean, to automate like the encoding, even.
Correct. Yes.
That's actually a good use of AI.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's a lot of. I mean, it's not very value adding. It can be quite repetitive. You don't change your suppliers all the time. So some of this is prone for AI disruption because it's just very simple patterns. Now we don't post entries. Our team always reviews it, but it saves them quite a bit of time. Now we're very excited about what AI can do for the business. It is something that we need to adapt to. So I talk to our accountants quite often, and we have more than 100, and I do tell them the job of the accountant, forget credit debit. It's not going to be about that in the future. It's going to be about being an integrator, understanding how a business model adapts to technology and technology adapts to the business model, and then being an analyst, understanding what's been automated, the output, and then be able to talk to your customers in a way that helps them. The rest, I think, is going to start getting automated quick.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one, actually. Yeah, basically the human will do the analysis part and the relationship part, but like everything else, maybe it can be done by AI.
Yeah, and the first step is really integration, though. You need to understand those integrations and make sure that your processes work with AI in a way that's conducive to the right responses. Just like if you use ChatGPT, the way you prompt it is important to get the right answer. It's going to be the same. The way we interface data and processes into it is going to be essential to get the right output at the end. And that's going to be the job of the accountant.
Is payroll processing taking too much of your time? Introducing Sprout Payroll Starter. For as low as 5,000 pesos per month, You get a team of experts to help you with your payroll and HR needs. We'll help compute and process payroll, handle all your government compliance requirements, and automate timekeeping. Leave the payroll to us so you can focus on growing your business. Enjoy peace of mind with Sprout Payroll Starter.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, Michael, let's go to the story behind Cloud
Yeah.
CFO. I mean, I can't. I mean, I think it's kind of difficult for someone. I mean, from outside the Philippines to actually start a company here in the Philippines. So, can you tell us again how was that? Because you work. I mean, you said that you work here in the Philippines for a multinational company,
Right.
and you've lived here for like more than 10 years, right? So,
Yes.
how was it living in the Philippines? And how is it starting Cloud CFO in the Philippines?
At the start, it was really, I mean, like most startups, right? Is it possible? Is there a room for cloud accounting? I mean, this is still very paper based in this like environment. Like you need physical invoices, so it was really a proof of concept. Now we grew in the Philippines for the first 5 years. We only expanded.
What year did you start? Sorry.
Sorry.
What year did you start?
2016 was our first year of
Oh.
operations. 2017 is when we really started. So
Oh, I
7 years
see.
ago,
Okay.
a bit more. We only expanded abroad about 2 years ago. So the first 5 years was really dedicated to the Philippines
And
market.
during this time, 2016, so these were all Filipino clients,
Yes.
Filipino SMEs.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we had to kind of learn this, and this we didn't build technology right away. We built technology to address actually something you said: scalability. Delivering consistent value-adding services at scale required very strong diligence and process, and technology is the best way to do this. So we started building technology when we reach a certain scale, which required that level of transparency.
But what was the motivation? Because I mean I cannot imagine for a French guy to start a business here in the Philippines. I mean, is it something personal as well, or is it something? Do you really see the potential of getting rich in the Philippines? What do you think?
Well, I don't know if getting rich was the main driver. Obviously, it is part of it. Everyone starts a business needs to think about this, but it was problem solving. Like it was really kind of like, okay, this is no one's doing this. It's done abroad. It's working really well in Western economies. Cloud accounting's been around for more than a decade before you even started doing it here. So it was really kind of like, okay, can we do something? And as I mentioned, I'd left the corporate world to be my own. I wanted to do my own thing, start my own business. And so that's the opportunity we saw. I was like, no one's doing this. Maybe there's a reason why. Let's see if we can break that reason.
Yeah, and since you have experience already in the Philippines, you basically bring a technology or something that's being done outside to here, and maybe there's great potential. But what do you have to say about the Philippines? So we're in Mandaluyong right now, and I can see
we can see
traffic
it's
slowly building up. So what do you say? I mean, what do you have to say about like the everyday city life in the Philippines? I mean, how is it living here?
It's interesting. I'm from France. I studied in Australia, and when I finished my studies, I moved to the Philippines to work for a multinational. Long story short, full circle, they sent me back to Australia to work for a while, and I come from France, where developed economy, not as sometimes messy as the Philippines, but and then I was living in Melbourne, and I thought is boring. I mean, I miss the dynamism, that raw
I like that.
mess that Manila can be at times, and it's a land of opportunity. People are great. The Filipinos are great to work with. Now, it is not easy every day. It is a tough business environment, as I'm sure you can talk to a lot of the people on your podcast. It's not an easy business environment, but it is one with a lot of potential and a lot of opportunities if you know how to grab them.
Yeah, actually, that's actually what I thought. I mean, I also lived abroad. I mean, just for 5 years, but I realized that in the Philippines, the term that you use, dynamicity and like the raw chaos, no, not chaos, mess maybe. I mean, it's colorful in a way, and
Correct.
actually, since in the Philippines there's not much regulation still, it's actually more free still to start. I mean, it's kind of hard to start your own business. I mean, with the compliance part, but
Yes.
it's actually more free like there's a room for creativity, and there's a room to bring in technology from outside to here.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
There are a lot of things to be done still.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, there's a reason for it, right? The reason that these things haven't worked here yet is because it's difficult. And we're talking about tech, for example. I have friends who run tech companies. We have clients who are tech companies, and it's hard to break the model here. So there are reasons why it's hard, but there's also reasons why those opportunities are here. Like
Yeah.
if you can break it, then yeah, there's a lot of room
Actually,
for growth. And it's a young market, so it's dynamic. People, as I mentioned, are great to work with. I come from France,
Oh,
where
exactly. Why do you say the people here are good to work with? I'm curious about that.
I mean, they're dynamic. They want to learn. And actually, they're just friendly. Like it's a good environment, right? I come from France, where people are always on strike and complaining about everything. Well, Filipino people are known for like fighting through adversity, right? And doing it with a smile, and that's something that I admire. Yeah, so I enjoy working here so far.
What's your favorite Filipino food?
Adobo. I would go classic. Yeah.
Again, going back to the Filipino culture, or like the Filipino, I'm curious about, maybe you can give some perspective into this, like how different are maybe French or Australians or not non-Filipinos in terms of business, in terms of starting up startups as well, in terms of starting a business and operating a business. What do you think? I mean, is there a difference? What do you think?
Yes. I mean, let's be honest. Cost of talent is also more accessible here. So that's on the pro side. On the con side, compliance is complicated. It's not easy to start a business here. If you open a company in Singapore, you file taxes once a year. Everything is digital. So that's kind of like, I would say, the easiest part of starting and running a business. Here, you need to be on your toes. Like you need to know your tax obligations every month. Working with people is great, but there's still kind of labor laws that can be quite pro employees, and that's completely fair, and that's normal to protect their rights. But you have to be aware of these things. Now, France and Australia also have very stringent and pro employee labor laws, which are, again, great for some reasons. But as an entrepreneur, you have to be mindful of these things.
Going back to the story of CloudCFO, so how did you start? I mean, did you start with a team, and how did you grow the team to 100+ people?
We just hired a few. We
Back
just
then.
started. I started by consulting mostly, as like offering some of my time, and then we realized, like, okay, I need to hire accountants because some stuff needs to get done. So we just started hiring accountants, a manager, a team.
So you just grew it like one by one? And
Yeah,
then
literally.
100?
Yeah, from 1 to 120 now. Yeah.
Do you have co-founders?
No, for me, I'm the only one for now.
So like when you started this, you're really the main founder, and you have your
Correct.
Filipino team?
Yes.
Oh, that's super amazing.
Yes. Lone wolf. Yeah.
How about the service? I'm curious if there's also, if there have been changes in like the things that you do. Did you pivot? Did you iterate your services?
We changed the way we provide the services, but fundamentally, accounting, tax compliance is what it is because the regulation imposes that it's what it is. I think the tech aspect is something that really changed the way we do business. It changed the way I run the company, because I sometimes feel that I run a tech company and a accounting firm that I need to merge all the time in the way they operate. So that's something that's been very exciting, but something new to me. Like I didn't have a tech background. So we have a CTO that guides us, and
A Filipino or
no, he's from abroad, Eastern Europe.
Okay, okay. Yeah, but that's actually interesting as well, because you started 2016. Back then, I mean, AI already existed, but it's not yet still like
Pre ChatGPT, right?
Yeah, pre ChatGPT. So I mean, how is it? I mean, how is it really to like when you see new tech that, I mean, aren't you also like maybe afraid somehow that this tech might override like what you're doing, or those things? What do you think?
I wouldn't say afraid, but definitely aware and careful. You have to stay on your toes. Like, and I mean, don't want to sound too kind of doomsday type of guy, but if you run a service company at the moment, not just an accounting firm, you should be very much aware of what's coming, and you have to reinvent yourself. And that has to come through providing better services, more competitive, more transparent. Because if you don't, and you just kind of like, in some service industries, there's that tendency to hide behind your expertise. It's like, I'm a lawyer, I'm an accountant, I'm like the eye of the knowledge, and kind of, charge fees unreasonably, and kind of like not be really very customer centric, just because I have that expertise that I studied hard to get to, right? But that, I think, is changing. Technology is gonna be a great equalizer, and people are gonna have to focus on customer experience.
Mhm. And in growing the team, so is it like because I'm not sure with how startups actually do it, but I mean, because you actually grew a long time. I mean, you just
Yeah.
grew. I mean, not so
Slowly
fast,
but surely, yeah.
Because I mean, some startups they get huge funding.
Yes.
They hire a lot of people. But so for this type of startup, so is it like you hire new people when you have new clients?
Correct.
Because I mean, to secure the pay for them.
I mean, you're correct. We didn't grow like most startups that like raise funding and go and spend a lot of
Yeah, and by the way,
marketing.
do you have investors? Do you have?
We have some, but some minor non-institutional investors,
Okay.
but not a big scale.
Oh.
So most of what we've done, we've grown organically.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
that's
That's
just
good.
also kind of like how I see things as a founder.
Yeah.
Chasing the money from investors and growing your marketing and sales without a solid service backbone, processes, and
Yeah.
technology
True.
focused on customer experience, you're just kind of trying to fill a bucket with a hole at the bottom, right? And that's actually what a lot of startups go through. They've got a good idea, they bring it to market, but they haven't really sorted out the revenue
True.
model, the unit economics. Like, are the people willing to pay for this? Can I make a margin on this? And then they just depend on investor funding. That's a great business model for some. That's not what I wanted
Yeah.
to do. I wanted to create a scalable, sustainable, profitable service and grow it that
Yeah.
way. Like, like just kind of like step by step.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. And that's also better I mean, you actually create jobs in the Philippines. And that's for me, a very noble thing to do. I mean,
Thanks.
you're not originally here from the Philippines. So
Yeah.
I actually admire that. I mean, you help the Philippine economy and you create jobs for Filipinos. Actually, when I was outside, I mean, in the office, I mean, I think they are all Filipino,
Yes,
right? I mean,
100%.
the accountants, they're all.
At the moment, everybody's from the Philippines, aside from our tech team. Some guys are from Eastern Europe.
Yeah, but that's still super nice.
Yeah.
What's the most challenging thing that you ever experienced in growing Cloud CFO from 2016?
Oh, I think it's kind of like when you grow a business past a certain scale, you need to reinvent yourself as a founder as well, right? You go through these growing stages, and you have like these death plateaus that you kind of need to shed a new skin
Do you
and
experience
change.
those?
Yes, absolutely.
What exactly?
I mean, just kind of like, I would say the first years, the company is very founder dependent, right? Like, it's just like you drive the decisions, and then you get to a point where you can't do that anymore. You've got too many customers, you've got 100+ staff. You need now to build a culture. You need to build a strategy. You need to build a mission vision that is true and resonates to your team. Well, at the beginning, you're kind of like, yeah, sure, I need mission vision, but at the end of the day, the founder drives a lot, or the co-founders drive a lot. Once you grow past that's something that, as a business owner, you need to reinvent yourself and delegate and manage. Be a real CEO, not just an entrepreneur anymore. That's something that, yeah, if not your own limitation, like you can't do everything, and you have to delegate and empower.
Yeah, that's actually, I mean, because most of the startups I interview, you're one of the maybe less than 10 startups I interviewed. I interviewed like already around 200 startups, but you're maybe like one of the maybe less than 10 startups that's actually scaled to like more than 100 employees, 100. So about that, I mean, how important is the culture, and so what's CloudCFO's vision and mission? How do you replicate yourself as well? I mean, how do you ensure that even when you have scaled to many clients and to many employees, that the processes and the culture of CloudCFO remains?
So that's what I was saying earlier is exactly that. How do you go from just being the driving force to a culture is your driving force and building that culture? So it is about mission, it's about vision. To simplify, our mission is it's a mission of empowerment. We want to empower business owners, we want to empower customers, but at the same time, we want to empower people to not just be data encoders. They're analysts, they're helpers. Like they're here to you have that notion of like being a kind of a superhero. You help SMEs run their business better. And that's kind of the encompassing glue that puts all of this together. Then there's another aspect to this is we call them kind of customer promises or brand promises. Is we make firm commitments. We will give you reports that are insightful and helpful. We will respond to you within X amount of days. And we have technology to track that. So that's part of our culture, that culture of transparency, that culture of professionalism. And once you've got your team behind those principles, you can do it in two ways. You can say, hey, these are KPIs and you have no choice. Or you can say, these are KPIs because that's what we're committing to customers and that's how it helps them run their business. And then you actually ask feedback from customers. Like sometimes service providers don't want feedback because feedback is complaints usually. No, we put feedback from customers everywhere. We want to know how can we improve, how can we help you run your business better. So there's certain elements, there are core strategic elements in the company that glue everything together from your strategic positioning to your customer offer to your culture and how you run your people, how you manage your performance.
Yeah. Actually, I think the most important part as well is like how you track that the culture remains and how you track the performance, that how you deliver that service, that same like quality of service to the clients remain really. So correct. I guess
I mean, people ask us or founders ask me like, why do you spend so much on tech? Because we do spend quite a bit of money on it. It's a significant amount of investment every year. I mean, because that's where I know that we can scale and be true to our promises. At the moment, everything is we use a big data system where at the moment I can know exactly how many reports are late, what's your response time on average per customer, per team. Everything is transparent.
Yeah, that's actually the hardest but the coolest thing as well for a CEO, because now basically you see it from a bird's eye point of view. Sure. You just see everything. You don't have to micromanage each one of your people. You just micromanage. I mean, you don't micromanage. You macro manage, and you let the numbers speak. You let the numbers guide how you actually direct the company.
And you work with your management then. Because I have these dashboards, they have them too. Yeah. So now we can guide them. It's like, okay, it seems like we're late on this. What's causing it? Can you address it? So it just empowers everyone along the value proposition.
That's actually exciting. I mean, I that's actually very exciting. I mean, I want to experience that kind of.
Good to hear.
Final question, Mickael. So what's the vision? Actually, you haven't told me the vision of CloudCFO. So what's really like the vision of CloudCFO?
Our vision is really to continue to disrupt and provide better value through technology. I think the technology aspect is going to take a bigger and bigger role in what we do. So that's really, that vision is to be the accountant 2.0 in a way, like with that idea of empowerment, like solve this problem once and for all for business owners, that they don't have to feel concerned about their taxes. They don't have to feel unsure about their business decisions. That and our vision is use technology to solve that problem at scale.
So, are you continuing to grow CloudCFO?
Yes.
Right? I mean, how what's the projection? What do you think? I mean, how fast do you want to grow, or how slow but sustainable do you want to grow?
I think we're taking multiple approaches here. Like we have to continue our sustainable growth, especially in the Philippines, but we're entering other markets.
Oh, where? I mean,
US, Canada, Australia.
How
US
about other,
being
like,
primary.
Southeast Asia? No.
The challenge we're in Singapore, we're in Hong Kong, but the challenge with other Southeast Asian countries is first the language.
Oh.
And tax compliance is also complex there. Now, we would like to continue to scale from the Philippines. So when we say we enter a market, is we still do everything from here. We may have some salespeople or customer success people on each market, but the service is consolidated here. So there are certain key elements that are important. Do we understand the accounting standards, the tax standards, etc.? So that's kind of how we strategize the market entry.
And by the way, was this your first office, or did you just move here when you already?
We've been lucky in a way. Like it's been a bit of a land grab. We started with a very small office at the end there.
Same building,
Yeah, same floor.
same.
It's just we
Oh,
had a little office there, and then when we were about to outgrow that office, a tenant left. And then during pandemic, another tenant left. So we've just been literally land grabbing as we grow, which has been great.
That's nice. That's a good story for
Yeah.
for an office, for a company office. But I mean, to be honest, Michael, I'm actually happy to have done this podcast because
No, thanks.
these are one of the startups that I really admire. I mean, growing sustainably. I mean, I think that's the key here, sustainable growth. And I mean, by sustainable growth, as I've said, you actually help Filipino people, more talented Filipino people get more jobs. So
Yeah.
this is one of the startups that's actually doing great stuff here in the Philippines. I mean, you might not be originally a Filipino, but I think if living here for a long time, I mean, you're slowly a true Filipino by heart.
I hope so.
Do you know any Filipino words? Have you?
Konti lang.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah. Thanks so much, Michael.
Thanks for having me. That was great.
If our listeners want to know more about Cloud CFO, maybe there's an SME, a business, a small or a big company who wants Cloud CFO's accounting, payroll,
Yes.
tax, and even the CFO services. So how can they contact you?
So they can go to our website, cloudcfo.ph. There's contact forms there, or they can send us an email at hello, HELLO, at cloudcfo.ph. We offer free consultations. So if they have questions just about their business, how could we help? If we can help, they can schedule a call, and someone from the team or even myself will jump on a call and be happy to help.
Okay, so and also put those links below. And thank you so much, Michael,
Thanks.
for this conversation.
Thanks.
And thank you for the business and the company that you've been building here in the Philippines.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me. It was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to our 50 patrons. This episode is super powered by AskLexPH Academy, our official e-learning partner. Get certifications on Lean Six Sigma, project management, data science, and more. 1 CFO, CFO services, bookkeeping and tax, and payroll processing for startups and small businesses. Tuala, privacy-focused digital experience for sharing identity information across Web 2 and Web 3 ecosystems. Better Support, a Manila-based BPO company. They are offering a referral program for anyone who can bring in new BPO clients. If you know any Western-based business that might have a need, let us know. Britanna, a cloud-based enterprise-grade ERP solution that fits the small and medium business budget. Fail Coach, business training, coaching, and consulting for startups and SMEs that are scaling or finding product market fit. Wonder Brand, next generation data science driven brand strategy and design company for emerging markets. School Tech, all-in-one AI integrated school and learning management system for small and medium schools. Doon, Philippines' first fully insured peer-to-peer car sharing marketplace. East Point Business Outsourcing Services, the one-stop shop for streamlined business solutions for MSMEs such as business registration, bookkeeping, and more. And Space Cebu, global co-working space, private office, and meeting rooms for startups, digital nomads, and freelancers. Mamiki Super Pet App, the Philippines' first ever one-stop mobile app for pet products and services. MarketMind Local, a digital marketing company focused in helping small and medium businesses. Mata Technologies, Philippines' premier provider of virtual tours and maps for LGU's real estate, tourism, and private businesses. Hire Business Solutions, provider of the most configurable cloud-based payroll system in the Philippines. Smile, consent-driven digital employment verification service to make smarter decisions faster. Divico Technologies, IT solutions specializing in software development, blockchain smart contracts, digital wallets, and cybersecurity. Drive Manila, PH's largest peer-to-peer car rental community. Ignite Careers, career matching platform for Filipino talents and hiring companies in the outsourcing industry. Looking for buy and sell online with Sigurado sellers. NutriCoach, personalized nutrition and weight loss programs for you. Benjoy's Food Products, the home of premium bacon ends, tapa, and tocino. This episode is powered by Contact RFID Business Cards, Dohe Philippines, Edfolio, Hive Rooms, Kazam, Codesham, Jure.ph, Big Giant Games, Founders Launchpad, Packetworks, Uplift Code Camp, Pareto Consulting, Agile Data Solutions, Hassle PH, Board Prep, Zales, Sirius MD, Pahatid PH. Please support the podcast through the links in the description.